With the new year approaching very quickly, I think it's time to consider some New Year's resolutions, maybe the ones that are based on what God wants for us from the Scriptures. Good morning, I'm Pastor Ernie Lewis of the Blue Point Church in Sisseton, Illinois, with your thoughts for Monday. Maybe I'm just speaking to myself this week, but I think a new me might be more forgiving in the new year. After all, we are called to be a forgiving people. In Luke's recording of the Sermon on the Mount, in Luke chapter 6 and verse 37, Jesus said, "Judge not, and you shall not be judged. Condemn not, and you shall not be condemned. Forgive, and you will be forgiven." Perhaps after a season of hustling and bustling for Christmas, we have some resentment pent up inside us. Maybe for the way we were treated by some merchants. Maybe we're still mad about that parking space that we missed because it was stolen by someone else right before our very eyes. Maybe our problem stems from being cooped up with family a little bit too long over the holidays. I don't know. Maybe we're still fuming because we didn't get that gift that we were looking for. But Jesus begins here by telling us to not judge others, although we often do that without really knowing the kind of things that they're facing or the kind of holidays that they've had, perhaps every day for that matter. He goes on to say, condemn not, because often when we judge others by their words or their actions, we can not only feel that strong disapproval, but maybe even we pass judgment, like we're some sort of one-man judge and jury over their lives. Jesus reminds us that if we won't judge others, perhaps we won't be judged like this in return, whether by those that we encounter or even by the Lord himself. He also says if we won't condemn that other person, perhaps we will escape some greater condemnation, either by those around us or by God who knows our hearts. We all know that when we see faults in others, they see faults in us too. And finally, Jesus says, forgive, and you will be forgiven. We need to practice this, to experience it in our own lives. The model of prayer calls for us to pray that way. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Forgiveness only comes when we're willing to forgive others. We could all use a measure of forgiveness. Perhaps that from a holy God who sees our every thought, our every motive, and every action in our life. Or perhaps we need the forgiveness of others that we have wronged during this holiday season. Maybe we were the one who stole that parking lot space, even though it was inadvertent. Someone else is looking at us that way. Maybe we've been difficult to get along with during the holiday season. Or maybe we just see the way a new year would look if we were all a little bit more forgiving and sought to be forgiven for our ways all through 2022.